Only one kid in history had ever attempted what Benny was about to. And he got eaten. So we were worried. Real worried. Even when Benny brought out the secret weapon. Shoes guaranteed to make a kid run faster and jump higher. PF Flyers.
Can't let him do this, man.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Slate Laced podcast.
Gang.
How are we doing, guys? We cooped up right now. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling a little on the healthy side, though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I mean, if you wasn't feeling good, we'd have to let you go.
Yeah, we have to actually stop production immediately and
get you to the hospital, and you wouldn't be able to come back for 14 days just because.
You be outside, man.
Yeah, you can't get everyone in here sick.
I definitely was just gonna quarantine in the room.
It's airborne.
But I mean,
it's airborne,
you're gonna walk out to get something to eat, and we'll get it. You'll touch the fridge, we'll get it. You know what I mean?
Who started this shit?
I don't. The people that got off the boat.
And someone ate a bat. I heard it started with like somebody that ate a bat. Yeah, there was like a meme saying,
just doing something stupid.
"Never say one person can change the world," or ask the man that ate the bat. Something like that, an uncooked bat.
But the thing is that in Contagion, remember the bat was flying and he had ate the banana and then he dropped the banana and the pig ate the banana.
Y'all didn't know Contagion was gonna be real life, did you?
And then the man killed the pig and he had touched it, and then that's what all started. But I think what happened was they had people on a cruise ship that was overseas. And they had found out that there was people on there that had, coronavirus, and they basically let everyone know that they can't get off this boat because people have coronavirus. And this was on CNN, and people were panicking like, I can't believe this. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go home. And there was people that are living like in Seattle, which was crazy because Seattle is like that. New York are like the biggest of people that have, coronavirus. But people got off the ship. And then they came into America, and they all went their separate ways because they didn't want to be quarantined.
And now we're here.
And then obviously here we are.
Out of jobs,
no
out
job.
of hours.
Because one motherfucker wanted to be Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
It
don't work.
Batman.
It's fiction.
Like, come on, man. Spider-Man get bit. He just it just doesn't work that way.
It really doesn't, guys. Come on now.
So a few people mess it up, and then it just
mess it up for all of us.
We're all sick. We got a terrible economy now. Like,
the
all
economy
that
is shut down.
Thanks.
Get a bag, and I
can't go nowhere.
No bags.
You can't even apply for a job and get a job unless you're gonna work at a grocery store.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's the only thing because it's the only essential business still rolling. So it's crazy.
It's front line.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
But anyways, enough cooped up quarantine talk.
Yeah.
Let's get into what this episode's going to be about. It's about to be The Invisible Man. We're going to do a quick compare and contrast for you guys. If for some of our younger viewers, you guys might not know, this is a remake.
It's definitely a remake.
It's definitely a remake.
What is it? 1933.
33
was the first one. And then of course we got the 2021. So that's first. Me and Ledge, we did a quick review of it, so we're fans. But Vinny, what'd you think?
Yeah,
of the
2020?
Look, it was a solid remake. My thing is, because you know how I feel about when people just start doing remakes. I'm like, man, I need a whole new take. I need something, because it's like, for me, there's a lot of creative people out here in this world that have fresh ideas, and they're not getting looked at. So when people are in the industry and they playing around and they just like, oh, let's do the remake of like, Godzilla or something, and it's just like, why? There's some dude sitting at the house right now with an idea you've never heard of. Let's just do that one. Give him a shot, let him do it. I don't want to see a remake personally. We got enough of those. But this was not bad at all.
This was lit. It was lit.
I was certainly locked in from the beginning because they hit the ground running from the very beginning, and that's what's dope. Like, as a filmmaker, obviously you see the shot choices and you know what's gonna play. Like when she kicks the doggy bowl, like you already know that's gonna happen. If you're a filmmaker and things like that, but it doesn't matter because it's so suspenseful because you see the fear in her. And you see her trying to get out of something, so you're like, the dude obviously that she's with cannot be good.
Yeah.
So
exactly. From
so
the
you
beginning,
just want
trying
her
to
to
root
get
for
out.
it, yeah.
You don't
grabbing pills and
exactly
trying to put the nigga to sleep
so
and all types of shit.
You know it's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when the alarm goes off, everyone's just like,
Yeah, I'm like, book it, start
man.
running.
I was hot when the dog comes out, like, bruh. And
So I'm like,
you better
come on,
leave.
Zeus.
You better
I think his name was
leave,
Zeus
bro.
or whatever. Yeah, come on now. But it was solid, and I had an audience where everyone was locked in. So I went and saw it in theater twice because you know me, I gotta always see it twice if I'm gonna give my opinion on it. The audience was locked in and engaged on both of them. People were like, "Get him, get him!"
Yeah.
Boo! Yeah, like the full thing. That's how solid of a film it
really
was
was.
because.
Sound like me in there. I was
Yeah, people was literally like, people was mad at the guy, like, you know, like it's real life. They was like, you know?
And that's when you know
It's
that you got everybody. It's
Yup.
kind of like, you feel me?
Yup.
When everybody's mad at the actors, you feel me? That's when you know you got everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great from beginning to end for sure. Suspenseful, everything you need in like a horror thriller. This movie gave you.
Yeah, so it's definitely one of the better films of the year. Obviously,
Still the best of 2020. Les, what you got on that?
I didn't say that. I said one of the better films of the year.
Les, what you got?
I'm gonna say one of because I haven't seen. You know, what I'm saying? We still in 2020.
We
so
still
I
in
do
it.
that.
We still in
and
it.
I don't want to just jump the gun.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
so far, it's probably number one for me.
It's hitting.
Yeah.
Portrait of
No,
a Lady
wait.
on Fire.
What else did we see? What else did I see? That was it's at the tip of my tongue. I think I seen a scary movie.
You talking about Turning? What you talking about?
Yeah. There we go. The Turning Point.
No, just The Turning. Yeah.
It's The Turning. Yeah.
There we go. The Turning. I said the
And
Turning.
then you saw the one where everyone has the dreams or whatever.
Everybody has the dream.
Oh, Fantasy?
Fantasy.
Oh,
Island.
Fantasy Island.
We ain't talking about that. Sorry. We ain't talking
I was
about
like,
that.
we talking about Top.
We're talking about Top.
Said my bad.
Just made it in the film. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for me, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I think right now is one for me. You know, I'm an artsy guy, so that's more of like an art piece for me.
For sure.
So it's probably gonna be like that. And then I also like 37 Seconds. So those are probably my first two so far. But obviously, there's a million more to come.
Exactly, we in it, but
I'm looking forward to James Bond again.
Okay,
I will
alright.
say so.
okay. Switching gears back. Thoughts on the 1933 film? I'm gonna kick it to Ledge first.
Yeah, I'm like, because
I know Vinny got a lot to say.
I'll go
To me,
Lengther. All right.
Go ahead.
I don't know I just feel like the 1933 actually was a good one compared to if we're comparing it to the new one now. That was a good first one, a good way to set the tone. And the reason why I say that is because you wasn't expecting it to be that good for a 1933 film. I'm sorry to say, like, I don't just sit and watch a gang of old movies. He'll put me on to something and I'll be like, all right, let me get the first real quick, and then I'll just sit back, and then next thing you know, I'm like, okay, all right, I fucks with it.
Exactly.
But the way that you expect, because we're in this generation right now, so you expect it to kind of like be like, okay, so how they gonna make the man invisible?
Right.
Like, it's still acceptable.
Yeah, no, it was actually a solid job on
That's
that.
what I'm saying. It was solid, so it was just like, oh yeah, the story, how the people moved and how the town moved, because you still got to remember that it was around that time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So all that fit around. The ending, compared to the new one, the ending was different. It was tweaked. It was tweaked. The new one is tweaked as far as the ending
And we'll
goes.
get into that.
Yeah, but that's my little you know what I'm saying? I ain't digging. I'm gonna jump in as they dig and be like, yeah. But it's a good 1933 film. Even the way the ending was and the middle was, as far as just like him experimenting, and they came in there, and I remember he just pieces at least, when he dipped out, and they was just like, we was just looking at him. He gone now. Like, it was like everybody was in that little scientific room, I think I want to say, in his room.
Yeah.
And then he just doop and dips off, and they like, where is he? It's just a mystery, and it's like, who doesn't want to be invisible? Who's never imagined to be invisible?
Yeah.
Or watched to throw another movie in Harry Potter in there and wanted that invisible cloak.
Cloak, man.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. The cloak was it.
Just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how you feel about it?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Look, I'm not a old movie cat. I'm all about the new school. But I agree with you that the 1933 one was really innovative for its time.
You feel me?
I was really surprised that it was invisible.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
I was like, nah, I'm gonna watch this. Blair got me on this, and it's gonna be all patchy or something. But no, they executed it really well for like 1933. Y'all, this
That's
was
what
a
I'm
long
saying.
time ago.
I know how you feel.
So I'm giving them kudos for that. But still, I mean, I know it's classic, iconic, everything, but I still gotta go with the new school. But that's just me. Like, I'm just a new school person. I need that new technology. I need that thriller. I didn't feel the thrillerness from that one. I didn't feel scared at all. It was more like a comedy.
Okay, yeah.
That's the way I saw it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I know it's hurting you, but I saw it like more as like a comedy. Like, I don't know if I was laughing because it was corny, but I'm not scared.
Yeah.
This one, you literally like hanging on, like in the 2020. So that's just the way I saw it, but that's how I am. Like, I'm not. You put on any old film, I'm really not gonna rock with it that much. But I see what y'all saying. I see the technology. I see what y'all was trying to do. I get it. With that, I'm kicking it to Vinny, who about to light me up. But Mr. Vintage himself, what's up?
I'm ready to hop into it.
Go ahead,
First
sir.
things first, I just want to say, when we get to where we want to go in life, in the future, I hope they let you have it. That's first and foremost. Because
as long as we go viral with it, I don't care. Roast me.
my thing is
roast me.
You looking at a movie that paved the way for other movies.
It did. I'll give you that 100%.
And you gotta just think back to 1933 and just imagine movies are just becoming a thing. And you sitting here and you're coming up with an idea because at 1933 you don't realize what you can do.
No, we give you that. We give you that.
Like,
we give you that timing and how.
Yeah, what they did was wild. Wild.
You don't know.
For 33, I think they still had like little feather inks writing and stuff.
But my thing is you don't even know that
they had the typewriter.
But you don't even know that you can do that type of idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Because movies have just come to the surface, so you're sitting here like, what do I come up with an idea of? Do I talk about a man wearing wearing red? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So then when you do that, then you're thinking about someone being invisible. And then what I do like, because I know it's stylized, that's Hollywood film. Mm-hmm. That's how they do things. But you got to imagine, right? In this movie, no one realizes that you can be invisible.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So people are seeing it and they're freaking out, like as they should.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine someone
still watching it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
Imagine someone in this room just suddenly went invisible and started running around. Oh, I'm gonna grab my coat and do this right. You're gonna freak out. Like, that's how it's gonna be. But I get it in the sense of like, that is not your type of horror. But you gotta remember, this is the first of horror. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not all the way scary yet. Mm-hmm. But it's just setting the tone. It's just setting the precedence of what is to come. So for me, I'm looking at it like that. It's an unbiased opinion of like, okay, I got to understand. I got to put myself in the shoes of, this is 1933. We're making a movie in 1933. Our resources are limited. What can we do with limited resources? What can we do with stories when we don't realize that we can make anything that we want?
Mm-hmm. They won. Mm-hmm. As far as all that goes, they won.
Yeah.
And then to make viewers happy, because then you got to understand that you have like a production code, so you can't show certain types of violence. You can't just show a man getting his head cut off. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't just talk.
That's why we got the director.
You know what I mean? You can't talk dirty. On screen. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't show sex on screen. These are things that you cannot do. So you're literally tap dancing around the idea of things when you hear the innuendos and all that type of stuff. That's where good writing started. Mm-hmm. Because you had to get creative on how you were going to do certain things. Mm-hmm. So to me, The Invisible Man, 1933, is fire. Yeah. That's why critics rave about it the way they rave about it. That's why it deserves everything that it deserves.
Gotcha.
So for me, if I'm rating it, it's 9 out of 10 on that.
We go teeter-totter your way.
Okay.
So that's why it is what it is. But even on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's like a perfect 100 on that.
Yeah, it did well. It's still, and it stands the test of time for sure.
And it will.
So for you, this one's better than the 2020. The 1933 is.
It's because they're two separate things, so I don't even really.
You don't even do that. Okay.
I don't even want to do that.
Okay.
But I do want to say one thing to both of you guys. What you have to realize is there's going to be like 50 years from now when we watch movies and when we look back at the 2020 Invisible Man.
I have a point about this, but I have a feeling you're going to say it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, no. I'll lay off because I want you to say it. Right. But there is going to be a day.
I know where you're going, and I'm gonna get there because I have points. Like, look, I'm not selfish in my opinions are are the right way. Like, no, I know I'm probably alone. Like, I just don't watch old school, so I have a point where Blair's going right now, and when we circle back, we'll
touch up on that.
Yeah, we're gonna touch up on that. All right, so we're gonna segue into a little compare and contrast here, and we're gonna start with some comparisons between this 2020 film and the 1933 one. Right off the bat, obviously, the fact that both went invisible. Mm-hmm. But then there was another more obvious one, which is the last name of the character, Griffin. Mm-hmm. So I think it was Jack Griffin in the 1933, and then Adrian Griffin in this one. So slight difference, but pretty much the same things, right. Of the names of the characters. And then, Vinny, did you have any other things that were kind of similar?
I was going to say is that both characters were still dark. That's one of the things that they did keep the same. Now I get it. It was 1933, and your definition of dark and my definition of dark can be a little bit different. But you have to understand that in 1933, they were showing a man slowly, but it was a short film. Yeah. And in the essence of that, it wasn't that long. So in the hour and whatever, 30, 40, 50 minutes that they did it in, he went insane. Mm-hmm, and he was actually ruthless in a 1933 ruthless version. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he and then our 2020 version was also a ruthless character that they both were gonna do whatever it took to get to where they wanted to go.
Just a different, just a different. Yeah, I feel you.
So the characters were still the same. They both did create something that allowed them to go invisible. His was more of like a liquid format, and then in the 2020 is the suit. Yeah. So again, there's some comparisons in what is the same.
Even with the insanity, well, not the no.
Well, he's kind of. I mean, the 2020 is kind of.
No, he is. He's a modern day insane, right? Because if we
were
a
freak,
because if we break it down, he is crazy.
Yeah. You gotta kind of
that's crazy. You want it? You got it.
Yeah, he's crazy, and the 33 version is crazy. Yeah. They're both crazy.
But that can also kind of lead us into our contrast too, because as you said. Mm-hmm. That the 1933 character slowly goes insane due to the serum, whereas like the Adrian dude, he was nuts. Jump. He was an abuser from the jump. So that's a contrast, like right there, is like how they get to their dark points. Mm-hmm. But yeah, exactly. And then another one, I think, obviously the suit versus the serum.
Yeah. That is a contrast. But I mean, I have plenty of contrasts in the sense of. We utilize townspeople more in the 1933 version because everyone seems to band together.
Yeah, this is
to
more
go
like
after the man. This one is just a 1v1
and nobody believes her.
No one believes her at all. Right.
So she's on a solo mission, kind of to prove her own.
But that's because he's disguising it because of how deceitful he is. But
he goes to some crazy lengths. The 2020 guy.
Since we're on contrast, I can't really recall. I don't really think about it right now, but. The 1933 one, was he on like a low-key kill spree?
He kind of was. He kind of was in a way as well. He was killing people. Okay. So both of them were killing people, but
slicing them up.
The difference was that this invisible man in 33 was more cocky. Okay. And he was trying. Remember, he would like kill people, and he was like, "This is me," because he was on that like typical cliche world domination type thing. Because remember, he was like, "I'm gonna be the greatest scientist to ever do it," and this, and that, and that's like that's
exactly. A little arrogant,
right? But the 2020 version is more of like
he was quiet about his missions.
But the thing is that he was already successful. He already made this suit. He's already making
He's an
money.
optic scientist that was a millionaire.
And he was already considered one of the best. Yeah. So for him, it was like dominate what? No, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and I'm gonna take advantage of her life. And so. Yeah, there's a lot of differences, and then obviously setting. We got San Francisco, and then the other one was like Ireland or something somewhere. I forget where it was, but it was overseas somewhere. So you already have different settings. Yeah. The both comparison is weather takes place in both of them that allows them to catch the.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So rain for this new one, because now you see in the outline of where the rain's falling, and then snow for the old one, right?
Right, and then but then you got to think about it. That is clever because how else would you catch somebody that's invisible if they walk around every day
when she threw
in
the
the
paint,
in the sunshine?
Yeah.
When she threw the paint, that was smart. I was like, keep dousing them with that paint, you know?
Yeah.
But that was one problem with me though. I ain't gonna lie. Like
what
as far as that paint thing goes, that was a problem for me. And when I say that is like, why was it so quick? Why was it so quick? Like she put the paint on and my nigga already washed it off. That
I know. That was that's a plot hole. That is because
I gotta do something about
paint,
that. Like,
paint you can't just
you feel me?
Paint you gotta be.
Let us know a little bit more about the
fact
suit.
The fact that you were following the steps, and then all of a sudden, boom, like 3 steps is gone now.
Yeah,
and then if he went naked, it's like he would have been out the suit. The suit was
exactly,
the thing. So
exactly.
That's a good point. Good catch, Ledge. I see.
Ding, 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 ding. I didn't like that real quick. I was like, I don't know if y'all
something off.
Felt that? Like,
Mm-hmm. All right. So one thing I also want to touch on is I think that the difference between making a suit in this 2021 and then a serum in the 1933, it just shows you the difference in the time periods. They didn't have the technology to build like a little suit back then, and everything was kind of more about the mad scientists, the serums back in the day. So that's another cool contrast there.
Yeah, I think that that is what's cool because when you think about technology, sometimes 1933, that's their version of, oh, this could be the future. This is how we view the year 2000, but you don't know what it really is going to be.
That's interesting.
Right?
It's like we thought we was going to get flying cars.
Exactly. And yet we still don't have that. So you're like, you take the serum and then now you go invisible, but you got to wrap yourself in bandages so that you can see yourself. Yeah. But that's future technology. So then right now we have this future technology and we're like, well, yeah, you'd make a suit. And then 20 years from now, it's going to be something else that you would do. Because you would be like, because then you'd be like, suits are out. Why would you wear a suit? Because suits are faulty because X, Y, and Z can happen and you don't want that to happen.
Who showed the faulty suits? I think it was Incredibles.
Yeah, exactly.
No capes.
But that's shout out to the Incredibles. That's a 10 out of 10.
It's go.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, that's Slate approved. So that was that. That's interesting that you do say that.
And then Legend had a point to the minions that they both kind of have.
Oh yeah, like somebody was trying to take over somebody's life in each movie.
Like kind of trying to pass the buck or pass the blame to their minions. So the 2020 guy had his brother. The 1933 guy had
his other scientist buddy. And the thing is that they dominate them both, and like they literally will control their every move. Like you're gonna do this.
The brother was spineless like a jellyfish.
Yeah, exactly. And so was this other scientist.
Yeah, it was
and then, until he ran to the police in the 1933 version, But then he made him pay for it.
Yeah.
That was wild. Yeah, she did call it a jellyfish.
I know, sure did. He's spineless. He was though, and that was a shock to see that he was involved. That was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was over.
Twists and turns in the 2021.
I know. Can I say like something that I really did like about the 2020? So. When you watch a lot of movies, right, you think that you've seen everything and the way that you can play with scenes and all that, and you're just like, I already know you have to do this to get to this, and you got to do that to get to that, right? And then like they're sitting there in the restaurant, right?
Oh,
and
this is my favorite scene out the whole movie.
Yeah, it's my favorite scene out the whole movie too. And what's crazy is that when I tell you, we probably had 70 people in the theater that night, the first night that I saw. When I tell you everyone did not see it coming and freaked out, I really felt like that was Alfred Hitchcock directing that movie. And it just for like one of those scenes, like Hitchcock wouldn't actually just slit someone's throat like that. He would do it in a different type of way, but like the build up and everything to it, the way they just bam hit you with that, I was
hurt you. That shit hurt you.
I was like, whoa.
It came out of literally nowhere.
I think everyone kind of like looked around at each other like, wait.
Facts.
Huh?
Yeah. Facts.
Did that really just happen?
Yep.
Yeah, that really just happened.
Look, I'm sitting there like.
It's crazy.
Right. But that's also
2 seconds. She had 2 seconds.
But the thing was, the sister saw the knife floating.
Yeah.
So the sister would have been able to back her story.
Exactly.
Had she been holding that neck a little bit longer,
Which is crazy, though.
But that's why for me it was good directing, because it was like
You can't have her. You have to have her crazy.
Yes, she finally has someone on her side. This is exactly
take
what
it
the
away.
audience wants.
Yeah.
Right. So they're dangling that thing right above you, and then whoop, just pulled her right
Slit
from
her
it.
neck
so
out of
then now
nowhere.
she's right back to having
Holding
no.
it in her
Yep.
you're so strong and
Yeah.
booty woo. Yeah.
Just it was.
See how you
crazy.
do against
Yeah,
that
she's like, oh,
knife.
beat him up. Yeah, and then nah, you ain't gonna beat up no knife.
Get
is
that
you?
invisible knife.
Yeah. And then
But
the
that was crazy. They just
that
took,
was
they took our
definitely-
heart right there with that scene.
scene
It
was
nuts.
dope.
I fuck with that one.
It definitely is up there with one of the surprises for me in
For
a film.
sure, yeah.
You know, like I know it just started, it's 2020 just begun, but I could put that up there for sure in the top like 100, 150
Yeah,
type
no, it
things
was-
of
it
like
was-
surprises that you didn't see coming. At least I didn't, and I know no one in the
Nobody
audience did,
saw
because
it. Nobody
everyone
saw
was.
it.
People were like, no, like that's literally people was yelling in the theater.
Nobody saw that.
Another thing
Yeah.
is I didn't expect this nigga to hit a full 4 flat and catch the car. She literally had
Yeah.
like this much gappage against her.
Yeah.
And everything, you all of a sudden,
Yeah, you didn't know he was a track star. That's why.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, you at the door.
yeah. Yeah,
That was crazy. That was wild.
And
He
then
hit that.
another thing that I thought of, that I'm sitting here thinking about, that I did want to talk about is when they were going at it in the hospital that she was in, right? The fact that he got from that hospital to Sydney or whatever, right? Sydney
girl,
was the
yeah,
black girl,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or whatever. The fact that he got like all the way to the house, like before her, like that quick, because they was both.
Dude was on the move.
But I mean, like they was literally both there and dipped it like basically the same time, and he was there and already had everything set up. I'm like, man,
It's crazy.
how you do that?
Crazy.
And then I think that's when we just realized that there was, he
then
was
you
gone.
obviously-
he was
yeah.
gone. He was gone quick. Yeah.
So then I had a theory. Thinking about it is, I thought both of them were in the room.
Oh, ooh. Both the invisible.
Both the
two
brother.
suits.
There's two, right? So there's more than two suits.
Oh, that could make sense.
Because that's the only way that a lot of things that happened that night add up. Is the brother had to be in the suit.
He was in the mix somehow.
They both had to be in an invisible suit.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And just having two places, like acting like it's just they moving.
And no, and then when they was in that house and the shootout and everything went down, they was both in that house.
Oh, okay. When he came, okay, I get what you're saying.
Because you see how,
Yeah. And then the dude just dipped. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that makes sense.
that's just my. I'm wondering maybe they was both in a suit.
I feel
I
that.
like where you're
'Cause-
going with that.
Because if not, then obviously as a writer, then they like messed up in the sense of like some of the things that went down. You're like, how they do it that quick? How they
Couple
get there?
plot
that,
holes, but no,
yeah.
I like your theory a little bit.
So yeah,
I can rock with that.
it was.
I like what I like too about it is like you didn't even think. I know everybody didn't think that suit was still gonna be there. Like, come on, he control you and everything. He wouldn't.
I know. How do you not find the
One
suit?
little
most-
cut.
one
That
li-
one
yeah.
little cut in the closet. Like it's like, bro.
yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't find that suit.
because of how manipulative he is and all of
her
that.
every move,
Every-
dang
yeah.
near know her resting
Took
heart
you
rate.
off birth control and everything. You mean to tell me
And you
he
didn't know you was
see-
taking some placebos.
Thank you.
Girl, if you don't wake up,
Yeah.
you done got your period.
Yeah.
I
Come on now.
Yeah,
you
that
are.
was
You're
funny. I was like, oh okay,
Crazy.
dang.
Yep. All right. Vinny brought up another plot hole that we got to discuss real quick before we switch gears.
I'm not saying that
Go ahead.
It's not that it's necessarily a hole or
the
anything
picture
like
of the
that.
scene for us.
But my feeling is okay. So Sydney, let's say since you are Sydney, right, and you're sitting, and you're sitting right here, and then she's sitting right here, and you guys are looking dead at each other, and you somehow get punched. You can't tell me that you're gonna look at what's her name right here and go, you punched me.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Well, using your own defense, back in 1933, they didn't have the ability to go back and see what invisible was.
I
So
know, but you
this
can't.
girl, the little girl Sydney's not thinking, oh, there's an invisible man in here.
I know,
She's
but
not
you
even
still.
comprehending
But my
that.
thing is that you still have to use logic, and logic tells you
Looks
you
like
can't.
we're switching gears.
If my hands are here,
like we're switching gears.
like
He said,
you guys are stupid. I'm saying, see, y'all not listening.
Go
My
ahead,
thing
go
is,
ahead.
hands is right here, right?
Yeah.
And even Floyd Mayweather, at least if he throws a punch, you still see it.
Yeah.
You don't have enough time to react to it because he's so quick. But if both hands are right here or down or whatever,
but Floyd is not invisible.
Yeah, exactly.
you guys are being ridiculous. But my thing
Mr.
is
1933 out here trying to switch it up.
I'm not trying
they
to-
didn't
I'm not-
logically go to it's an invisible
I'm not trying to
man.
go. But my thing is you gotta use logic and you gotta be like, how could I have got punched by her? Now
It did bother me too. It did bother me too.
And now, okay, let's say we go from there. And we don't want to say that there's someone invisible because we're not using that type of logic because we understand people can't go invisible.
Yeah.
But you got to think about something. You got to chalk it up. That's
So
one of those things that you just chalk right. Because we've all been somewhere and something happened and you can't explain it, right? And you don't go, well, there's someone invisible in the room. You just go, I don't really know what
Something
happened.
weird
That's
happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? How did like you're in the house and then the book falls off and you're like, and you just start
Yep.
You don't go there was a ghost, but you just go, I don't know how that happened. You just chalk it up. So if it's one of those like I got punched.
Yeah.
Did you get punched? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know that you got punched. She's saying you punched me, you
first
hit
of all,
me,
why
but
do you have to deck her like that though?
it
was something like heat on the end of that.
That was a real sucker punch.
Yeah.
He really got a solid
And she's
one
like,
in.
what, 16?
Yeah,
She got
17-year-old
popped.
girl.
It was bad.
But again, we're saying punched because the sound effect that you hear, she's verbalizing she got punched. But my thing is that really what happened? When you're thinking about it, right? Like, because we wrote it into the movie to be this way. But in real life, if you're here and she's here and that happens, you're not going to say you got punched. You're just going to say what happened.
Yep.
Because realistically, your face went like this, and you don't know how it went like that.
It bothered me too. Look, it bothered me too, but I was just using your logic to try to explain it.
And again, it bothered me, but again, that still doesn't change the rating or anything like that. It's still enjoyable.
It was just one of those things, like let's point it out.
But I'm just sitting here like, so we're gonna move her.
Yeah.
We're gonna move her out the house. I know that it's the point to show that how he divides everybody and makes her look crazy.
Separates her, isolates her.
So
and that's how he wants to keep
I
her.
know why they wrote it in the way they wrote it in. My only thing is just that is like there's plenty of other ways. There's plenty of other ways.
Punched me.
Yeah, it was.
And you know, when you're sitting in the room and whether you're writing by yourself or you have two writing companions with you or whatever, that's got to be one of the ones where you're just like, nah, we can do something else. We can come up with another one. And I promise you by the end of the day, you'll have a better idea.
Writing is hard though.
I know, but I'm just saying, you'll have a better idea.
Especially with these pros that wrote it.
So you're coming to the conclusion that it was too.
Yeah, there was definitely someone in the. All I'm saying is if I get hit, if I punch someone in the, or I shove someone in the corner of the room, and I run out and I run into the hallway and I'm getting hit again.
Yeah. He didn't fly and it was invisible.
You know what I'm saying?
He couldn't levitate exactly. He was a Silver Surfer out here, like that.
You know. Like what I told you off camera, right? If you punch me and I go flying all the way over here, there's no way that when you run into that hallway, I'm there.
I'm like, it's Blair again. He's just punching me everywhere. What the hell?
You know, that's all I'm saying.
So definitely some plot holes, but doesn't affect our rating. Just a couple interesting things.
Just not better than the 33.
Yeah, that we noticed. All right. So switching gears here into nods and Easter eggs that kind of, paid homage to the 1933 film that were tucked away in the 2020 film. This one I did notice, I will say, the bandaged man when they're in the hospital, when she's getting basically 5150'd and admitted into the hospital.
Right.
The man wrapped up in bandages.
Right.
Probably a burn victim or something like that. Yeah. But that is one of the disguises that the 1933 Invisible Man
yes, he did.
Used. So did you guys see that? You guys saw that?
We did see the bandage.
I saw the bandage. But I didn't.
But you don't piece it. In the moment. You don't piece. You don't.
I'm mad. I'm mad that I didn't put two and two together.
Get
because
to where you got.
That's something that I would easily have seen, but I just didn't. I just didn't even think anything of it.
And the next one I didn't notice, but I guess there was a scene when she woke up or when she was sleeping. Saw the when she woke up, she saw the trench coat and the hat.
I did see
which
that.
is another nod to a disguise of the 1933 man.
He wore that with the bandages wrapped around. Yeah, that was.
So you caught that one, and that was like when he was, I guess, taking those photos of her. Yeah, I missed that one.
And then when he revealed the photos later. Yeah, as well.
But definitely caught the bandages. But that's cool that they try to, pay a little homage, even though this is not. There aren't many, similarities between the two.
There was enough for us to talk about it. So there was enough, but yeah.
So I think that was good. All right, so another segment before we wrap things up, I want to discuss the endings. So I'm gonna kick it to Vinny first. Which ending did you prefer? 1933, 2020?
Oh, for sure 33, because I think the 2020 was kind of weak.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
How was the 2020 a weak ending?
Nah,
that don't even make no sense.
Because when he got shot in the house.
Who got shot?
The brother. I knew.
Okay, but that's not the ending that we going on.
All right, I get it.
We talking about the dinner.
Yeah, no, that ending. Okay, that ending was fire, but.
Yeah, so my quick take on the ending, it's definitely the 2021 for me because, I mean, you see Elizabeth Moss's character arc.
Mm-hmm.
She becomes a completely different woman. You know, at first she's battered and like kind of sheltered and just trying to escape, and now she's taking control.
And she's not gonna let a man dominate her life.
You know she's with this shit.
And then it's so eerie, like, you know, she kills him. Obviously, puts on the suit in her hideaway spot, and then kills him. Mm-hmm. And then the way she comes out and talks to the brother, like, Broham's standing out there, like, so should we call the police? She's like, did you see anything? Like, that's just so hard. Like, it was just an eerie ending.
What did you see?
I like the way, you know, she kind of came full circle. I mean, and just became, you know, completely in control of her own life, which is great.
All right.
Ledge?
Yeah, you put that in the best words. Like, she
2020 though for you too?
2020. She came back to the house and marked him. She got her revenge. Like,
y'all terrible.
You want that to. You wanted her to win. Yep. She went through too much.
Went through way too much.
All right,
Vinny, what you got?
Two things. Okay, so first one, when the ending before the ending, the pre-ending. Did you think
rising action?
Yeah. Did you for everyone in school?
Yeah, this would be the rising action.
Did you think the brother was in the suit?
No, absolutely not.
At all.
I knew something was off with him. I was saying off camera, like something was up for sure, but I didn't know he was gonna be suited and booted.
See, it's just they didn't give me the whole thing of. Well, did we know that it was two suits before she started?
No, we didn't even know it was two suits.
That's what I'm saying.
We thought she stole the suit. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. So no, I had no idea, but you know, apparently you knew.
Yes, I did know. But two things. It's like we've been talking about. You're talking about a man that is in control of everything. He's basically Lex Luthor. See what I'm saying? So it's like, you mean to tell me he didn't think to make more than one suit, make more than two suits, make more than three suits? Meaning to tell me he doesn't have a 7-day collection? Yes. Like, it's Monday, I'm gonna wear this one. It's Tuesday, I'm gonna wear this one.
But being that they already showed that he was trying to control her, we didn't think this was something he wanted to just get out. Like,
he thought, but he had to think everything through. He had to think everything through.
Over every
he had to think that maybe she would get smart, get hip. Maybe I do have to make another one. But my leading to my thing is that I knew the brother was in the suit because, again, when we talk about the rise in action, right, we have yet to come full circle. So for it to go full circle, the film started with her in that house and she had to get out. Yeah. And so there was so much trauma in this house and everything that she was going through, and she finally escaped it. But then again, that is the whole, again, you're talking about her becoming dark and all of that. So she has to face it again. So that house is big. That house is monumental. It can't end in the house. And it can't end in the house that she was living in, that she ran away from.
Sydney,
because that's running away to escape your problem. Right. You're escaping it. You haven't conquered anything there.
Circle.
So that's why now you go to that fire mansion. You know, with the that modern architecture.
Nice clean lines.
I love that.
Nice clean
I love
lines.
that. But so you have to come back to that, and then that's when I
feel
that that ending is fire. The real ending is fire.
Yeah, I just thought it was more discreet.
The 2020 dinner.
The 2020 dinner was fire.
Yeah, you didn't like the fact you were hoping that it wasn't gonna end with the brother getting shot.
I would have been hot. I've been like, we recording tonight. Let's sit down. Let's roast this. This is unacceptable. Yeah, blah blah blah. But
I'm glad they drug it out too.
That was funny in the sense I'm like sitting there watching like, okay, and then again, everyone in the 2 times that I went loved it. Everyone was like, yeah, woo, like applauding the whole 9. They was doing all of that. So I will give the slight edge To the 2020 ending, I did like that. That was fire how they sat down and she finally conquered it. Because you got to imagine there was plenty of dinners that they had and he was dominating everything. Because remember she said he would control what she ate, what she wore, everything that she did. So again, you know, the manipulative man that he is, he has all these type of foods here again. You know, it's just like seeing it all over again. It's like, but she's like, I'm in control now. I'm in control.
Finally.
And then again, we're assuming that the suit is still there and all that type of stuff because we're talking about the plot holes and all that. But anyways, but let's not undermine the 33 ending though.
Give it to us.
Because I did like because what was going on in 33. It turned into, it had a touch of romance, which is weird. I mean, not that it's weird. But you stupid city. What I did like is they only could show you so much at 33.
Yeah.
So he goes in the barn, he's laying down, he's resting, and then someone notices that he's in there and he gets shot down when he tries to run out of the house. But what I liked is him laying in the hospital bed, which you would then say was that man in the 2020 version. He's laying in the hospital bed. And he's finally realizing
remorseful.
It's not always worth it. It's not all, you know. And then that's the transformation of the man. Yeah. So that's what I did enjoy, and you know that.
So in a way, it came full circle too.
It came full circle as well, and I did, and then his girl was there that was like kind of always down for him type thing. But I will give the edge to 2020.
Thank you, sir. And I think what you like so much about the 1933 is the fact that the execution.
Yeah.
The execution being with the limitations that they had in the time period and stuff like that. And the kind of innovative and brilliance of the filmmakers of that time, the director of that time.
And we agree.
That man was probably ahead of his time.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So I think that's one thing that you kind of appreciate as a filmmaker yourself.
And I do. For all the people out there, if you're ahead of your time, stick to what you're doing.
Yeah. People may think you're crazy, but you might the
you
next Invisible Man, you know?
Exactly.
But before we get out of here, I'm going to talk about what Blair was trying to say in the beginning. And my takeaway from this, both the 2020 version of The Invisible Man and the 1933 one, was that, the 1933 is always going to be a classic, iconic film. In 40 years, they're still going to remember that, and it's still going to be, a perfect 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. But when people look back at the 2021 in 40 years, it's just going to be another thriller. It's just going to be another good thriller. It's never going to stand out like the 33 one did. So I'm giving you that.
Okay. Now, with that being said, because I like that this is a good close, what I also want to mention is as time goes on, everyone's going to look at the 33 and they'll see it as a standalone, but there's going to be people like you where you're like, well, that's silly. That's kind of corny because that happened and that happened. And remember how I was mentioning things in 2020, how I was saying, oh, that was silly, that was corny. Mm-hmm. And we all agreed on those silly and corny things, but it didn't ruin the movie. Now you're going to understand that 50 years from now, when we're a lot older and we love the 2020 version, we still cling to it. We still talk about it. We put it in our classics of things that we love or whatever, just great thrillers and not putting it in horror genre, whatever, right? There's going to be those 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 20-year-olds that watch and go, man, the 2020's kind of silly. Like, are you for real?
Yeah.
Like, people are getting shot in the hallway and they're not realizing that, Yeah. And it's gonna be like that. It's just gonna always be like that because again,
we evolve.
Exactly.
As people and time.
Technology, everything gets better.
We
and
get
then
so
you
spoiled
create the better.
The next big thing. We're getting spoiled with technology, and that's kind of ruining the way we see classics.
Exactly.
And it ruined it for me,
Because you're saying
being born in the 90s ruined the way I saw the 1933 film.
Right.
Because I was spoiled in the fact that I had such great films
growing up. So you're saying, like, in essence, right, you have all of this stuff to view, right? You're in 90s and you can look back all the way to 1910, right? But then imagine someone in 2070 growing up and he can watch everything from 2060.
We're going to be like, man, that was heat. And he's going to be like, okay. Yeah. Yep.
Really? Andy Dufresne's dug a hole in a wall for 30 years.
Always heat, man. Always heat.
But I'm with you. But I'm saying that's how people feel about it.
Like,
and it's one of those things.
Yep.
People always have their opinion, but classics will always be classics.
Shouts out to Shawshank.
Yep. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode.
For the gang.
Stay safe. We're praying for you. We're thinking of you.
Cough in your arm. Vampire coughs, people.
Vampire cough.
Vampire cough.
Hot tip. Please do it. Please wash your freaking hands.
Let's bring the dab back right there.
But
dab right there.
This is the Slate Laced gang. We're signing out. Please like and subscribe. Please continue to view. You ain't got nothing else to do. Check us out on the next one.
For the gang.
Bye.